How can you celebrate the fact that you're different and celebrate the fact that maybe it might be harder for you? So often we hear a lot of people saying, oh, well, it's harder for me because I'm a woman. It's harder for me because I'm Latino. It's harder for me because I'm Black. It's harder for me because I grew up in a single parent household. It's harder for me because I'm a woman in science or a woman in the military, whatever it might be. So what I want to share with you are some thoughts on how that's actually a good thing and how that can actually be a benefit to you. So instead of thinking like, oh man, it's really hard for me because I grew up in poverty, or it's really hard for me because I grew up in a really, abusive childhood, how can you see that as a thing that has helped you develop, stronger character, more determination, a more compassion perhaps too, but also to think about how it's helped you look at the world differently. Because many times if things are given to us and things are somewhat easy, we often don't work as hard for those things. But when you feel like, I'm a female and I want to go into the military, you're going to work harder to prove yourself, which is not a bad thing. And it's not a bad thing that it's harder. We're designed differently biologically. So of course it's going to be a little bit more difficult physically. But what you can notice is that you can develop a stronger character. You can develop stronger mental fortitude, stronger emotional fortitude, because you actually need more emotional and mental strength a lot of times in physically demanding occupations or situations than you do physical strength a lot of times. Because it's the mental strength that's going to give you that extra physical strength to overcome whatever it is that you're facing. So instead of seeing it as a thing that is working against you, the fact that you are different, see it as a thing that's working for you. Because how has that shaped you? How has that made you a better person? How has that made you smarter? How has that made you, more diligent or more tenacious, whatever it might be? And use that to your advantage, that you might have done way more research than someone else because you had to work harder, because you felt like you wanted to prove yourself. And a lot of times I see this with coaches is they feel they can't coach someone who if they don't have the same experience as that person. So for example, perhaps you want to be coaching, $1 million businesses, but your business isn't quite at $1 million. And so you hold yourself back and say, well, I can't coach them until my business is at $1 million. Yes, you can. And you're actually better suited to coach them because you don't have a business that's at $1 million. And why that's the case is that you're not going to come into that coaching relationship with any assumptions based on your own experience running $1 million business. You're going to come in with open eyes, open mind, and really be asking different questions because you don't know what it's like, because you haven't experienced it. And what that does, it allows you to see their business differently and allows them to see their business differently because they're looking at it through the eyes of having been through it, and they forget what it was like in the beginning, or forget what it's like to not be a person that's running $1 million business. So having someone come in that has a very different perspective, that doesn't have any baggage around what you're going through, allows you as a business owner to actually grow even more, and you as a coach to coach much more effectively and powerfully, because you don't have any agenda. You don't have any knowledge about what it's like in your own experience and how your experience maybe was challenging or what you did, and you're not using that. And that's not your job as a coach. Your job is really to guide your clients to their right path based on where they are and where they want to go and what you're noticing about what's blocking them. It's not for you to tell them to use your formula or this is what you did and they should do this, because that's not helpful. They know how to do strategy. They're $1 million business owner. Strategy is not the problem. It's really a different level of relationship that they need, where you're really tapping into their genius. You're tapping into a different way of operating and seeing and believing in how they're perceiving both themselves and the world and their business. And that doesn't come from strategy. That comes from being in a place where they're willing to meet you and be vulnerable about what's happening with them, and be willing to create something new with you. And that happens because you have a new perspective in it, specifically because you don't have the experience that would maybe color your perspective in a way that would not be helpful for them. So, wherever you are and whatever your experience, please start to think about how being different is a good thing, and how the fact that you might have had to work harder and maybe have had more obstacles to overcome, or felt like you've had more barriers or blocks to your success. Think of that as an amazing gift and be grateful for that, because it has made you not only a better person, it has made you stronger and more insightful. It has widened your perspective and shifted your experience so that you see the world in a very different way than if your path had been smooth and easy and all the doors just opened as soon as you knocked on them. And what it allows you to see as well is coming from that place of a deeper sense of appreciation of yourself and your path, and how much you appreciate that you are a person that is determined to go after what they want no matter what's in the way, and probably more so going after what they want because of what was in the way. Cool? All right, let me know your thoughts.